This is the Mobile Tech Podcast, brought to you by worldpodcasts.com. Now here's your host, Tech Girl, Miriam Joie.
Brought to you by Mint Mobile. Stay tuned for a special offer at the end of the show. Hi, and welcome to the Mobile Tech Podcast. I'm your host, Miriam Joie, and today is Wednesday, January 7th, 2026. First show of the year. We're at CES in the studio. I've got a bunch of awesome guests here. Starting on my left, we've got Juan Carlos Bagnell.
Yeah, I can't. You had me back on your show. I appreciate you.
Some gadget guy. All right, and then we have Mr. Jason Howell.
Hello. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. And we have Matteo Doni, who were just on the podcast pretty recently, actually.
Exactly, twice in a month. The audience must be exhausted.
Twice in a month of time, not a month of
yes, not the
by
calendar.
name. Yes.
Yeah.
And you've overlapped a year in that month.
Yes,
Yes, it's kind of amazing.
Date changes too.
So we're going to spend about an hour talking about the things we saw at CES that were cool, and crazy. And we brought a banana for scale. For those of you watching.
This is just what happens when Mateo's on the show. It's pretty standard.
Yeah.
He came prepared.
You know, we are doing, for the Patreons, a video version. So if you haven't joined Patreon yet, consider supporting me. Patreon.com/TNKGRL. You get the video a day in advance every week for $5 a month. So consider that. And then, I don't know, there's probably all kinds of stuff. I want to mostly talk about phones, and then maybe we could go to laptops, smart glasses, any wearables you might have seen, any automotive craziness you might have seen. Honestly, I haven't really had time to explore much on the automotive front. So, where do you guys want to start? Who wants to start?
I feel like phones is the obvious starting
jump
point.
on phones.
And then we venture out.
Because also CES, not always a good phone show.
No, but there's been some really interesting stuff.
Yeah.
I feel very invigorated by the phone situation at CES this year. Remember when CTIA was going on like 15 years ago?
You gotta throw out
so
old.
Think of CTIA as the CES, but specifically on mobile. And CTIA started off we would absolutely never miss CTIA because there was all the phones because the carriers owned the phones back then, right?
Yeah,
and so they were carrier specific. And then it died off. As soon as the iPhone started existing and Samsung said, we're no longer branding our phones after your carriers, it just died. And CTIA became irrelevant. And I felt like for a while, CES was like that. We weren't getting any mobile devices at CES. And it doesn't mean CES is irrelevant because obviously, we're going to talk about 3D TVs, right?
Oh, yeah.
Of course.
I mean, smart money they're making a comeback.
Absolutely.
That's what I heard.
And so there's that. There is also laptop. It became a laptop show for a while. It feels like. And wearables.
I mean, it really just depends. Year after year, you don't know how much phone anything you're going to get at CES.
And yearly, I feel like
dice.
CES kind of defines its reason to exist every year.
Yeah.
The vibe of every show, you kind of have to recap what was CES about this year. And I think they've succeeded in being sort of amorphous. Like they can kind of vibe with whatever's going on in the industry.
Matteo, phones. What would you start with here?
Ooh, obviously, there's a lot of talk about foldables and all those exciting things. Personally, I'm very excited about ClickStech.
Yeah.
That's what really got me.
That
I think that from
Discord.
a mobile enthusiast standpoint, ClickStech stole the show.
I agree.
From a sort of return on investment on their part, they got all the buzz. My Instagram threads feeds, the Google Now feeds, it's full of ClickStech news.
Yeah.
And I'm not only excited by it, I've pre-ordered. I've spent my pocket money.
Okay.
And I'm waiting for devices now.
Mr. Fisher, if you're watching, and I know you listen to the show while you do B-roll, that's your thing. So, Matteo bought one. Look, I just did my briefing with them this morning, and I finally got to handle the device, and as well as the Clicks Power, which is their MagSafe keyboard, essentially.
Which is slick. I love how it
feels like
a little extra room
$1
for the larger phone. It's really well designed.
But unfortunately, what they showed was non-functional, but it had the weight, the dimensions, the materials. And wow, you know what it is when serious nerds like us make a phone? I kind of feel like this is the Michael Fisher phone in many ways, and the Kevin Michalak phone as well.
Oh, yeah.
But I kind of want Marquez to make a phone. I kind of want Dave 2D to make like these big creators that have a crazy budget. Like I kind of want Shenzhen to be able to deliver 10,000 phones made by a creator. I think we're going there. I think we're getting there. It's possible.
As you say this, it's surprising to me that like major brands haven't had a partnership with a Marquez or a Dave 2D to do
that
like
limited run.
Do the
focus
limited
on
run
this. We
special
know it.
edition.
They'll do it with like anime babes on the back of glass, but and I think they're missing a few niche.
Heck, you have been missing an opportunity.
So.
Well, you say niche, like yes, that is a niche. But how many subscribers does a Marquez Brownlee have? And how many of those people would be motivated entirely by the style of a phone like that?
About Clicks, though, is that it's not just this is the Michael Fisher phone based on the popularity of his persona. Mm-hmm. This is how can we be the king of a niche? And it kills me that our market really looks at like how many zeros you can put on units shipped or sold, and it ignores all of these other little communities of people that want a device that's maybe more streamlined. Mm-hmm. It's the most difficult conversation I have is where I try to classify a phone. Because you say, this is the best phone. You're like, well, no. Is this a communicator? Is this a gaming device? Is this a multimedia? What are we trying to accomplish? And I feel the communicator has been the section of phone most neglected. I want to pull something out of my pocket, get in touch with someone, reply to something, put it back in my pocket, get on with my day. And we haven't had that since BlackBerry.
Because that really sounds like the Windows Phone ads. Get out, get on with your life sort of things.
We've spent more than a decade living in the murky waters of, one device that does literally everything. And now it seems like maybe we're coming out of that a little bit. At least that's certainly the play that they're taking with that.
Oh, yeah.
So look, I feel for me what really works with Clicks is I like the idea that there's a bunch of people out there who use two phones. As simple as I have a work phone, I have a play phone, like my personal phone, and they might be identical iPhones even. You know what I'm saying? Like a lot of people do that or similar iPhones. And then it goes a lot more complicated. There's people like us, like folding phone in one pocket, iPhone in the other, right? Folding is going to be Android, of course.
Or
and
then phone I own and phone I'm reviewing.
One of the things,
a lot of that
but
too.
one of the things that is very common right now amongst us people is an iPhone Pro in one pocket and a Fold 7 in the other. Like North American centric, works with all the networks, la la la. Mm. But then I've also seen people like what you said. My main phone and my review phone. And then we have people like me where it's like folding Android and a Pixel, because it always has to be a freaking Pixel because, I have like Stockholm syndrome. Like I need to have a Pixel at all times. Otherwise, something bad's going to happen.
I think I can identify.
You can identify with that. And I think, who else can identify? C. Scott Brown can identify with that.
Yeah, of course.
More than that, he's a total fan. But for me, I think that, I was having this conversation with the folks at Clicks today in my briefing. And I'm like, I think that there is a market because I look at the way I do my stuff is my Pixel is really my communication device. Like in the sense of like, I do WhatsApp on that, I do WeChat, I do Telegram, I do Google Chat, I do Slack for my work stuff, I do my text messaging, and it's contextual. But I do Telegram and I do Google Chat on other phones because it's generally, I want to have Telegram on everything because I have a lot of discussions on it. But I don't have Slack on my folding phone. I don't have you know what I'm saying? I don't have WhatsApp. I don't have WeChat on those. So for me, but at the same time, it's also my camera. It's the best camera that I have with me other than my iPhone that I use for video that's in my bag. But my folding phone is my productivity device. If I'm on an airplane, which is a lot for me, especially if I'm stuck in economy and I can't, use my laptops, it's like I use it like with the split keyboard to write. I use it to like organize some things like triage email, calendar stuff, like the heavy lifting that I would do on a laptop. I can do like 75 to 80% of it on a foldable, but it's more like 50 to 65% on a bar phone. Like, so there's different, that's kind of where I'm at. One day they'll converge. One day maybe I can find one that has a good enough camera.
I think
but splitting the battery life is another thing. I split the battery life, right? So that's another advantage for me. For sure. And then of course I got 2 more pockets for all the phones I reviewed. So that's me.
Quick show of phones. What do you have on you?
Yeah, let's do that.
So in my pocket, I've got a OnePlus 15, a Vivo X300 Pro, and then in my bag, I've got a couple Xiaomi. So I've got a
cool.
Xiaomi Ultra in there.
I have my Pixel 10 Pro XL, which is in a case, and it's a Canadian model with a SIM tray because I needed a SIM tray. And it has US bands because it's compatible. It's missing millimeter wave though, but I don't care because I'm with T-Mobile. I have an Oppo Find N5, which is my folding, which I've had for a while now. That's kind of the two, phones I mentioned. I have a Poco. Oh, it's behind the laptop right there. I have a Poco F8 Ultra, which I'm using as a hotspot right now. And I have this phone that we've discussed on the show. It's the Realme 16 Pro Plus. And that's actually, after this CES, we like to go to Palm Springs and chill out and by the pool and stuff. And so the nice thing about this Realme is essentially a really high-end camera on a mid-range phone. So it's got like a 3x telephoto, like periscope with OIS, big sensor, 50 megapixel, 200 megapixel main sensor. These specs are public. And, it's a really camera-centric $350 to $450 kind of phone. And I'm saying that because every year they make a new one. Like Realme 15 Pro Plus was like that, 14 Pro Plus. And I like the idea of a phone that is, mid-range in its specs, plastic frame, no wireless charging, but has a big 7,000 or something milliamp hour battery, has fast charging, and has like a really incredible camera. So I'm going to put it to the test in Palm Springs.
Nice.
All right.
What about you,
what do you got, Jason?
Mine's a little bit more vanilla. I got the Pixel 10 Pro and I have the S25.
Is it XL or regular?
Regular.
Okay.
Yep.
So you like the small phone. And then, wow, S25 Ultra without a case. That's
bold.
Ballsy.
Is it?
That's brave of you,
God,
sir.
I haven't. And I
Why
use
do you have a case on this? Are you a caseless guy?
No, I have a case on this because I keep a couple of cards in there.
Ah, smart.
So the next time you meet up with Jason in person.
Look, if I don't keep my driver's license in my phone, then I leave without my driver's license a lot.
So you actually remove it? Like
you saw the press releases on, we're going to put this in Google Wallet. And you thought, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to put it in
so that is your wallet.
my Google Wallet.
It's my wallet enough for my driver's license.
Wow, amazing.
So
and so is this the normal combo right now? Or are you just doing this for CES? Same with you. Is this your normal combo?
Like, this is what I've been walking around. Okay. Yeah, the Vivo X300 Pro stole my personal SIM. Yeah. And I don't know that I'm going to leave this phone.
Yeah, if I had to go away from the Pixel right now for the main phone, I would go for my Oppo Find X9.
It's Vivo, Oppo, Xiaomi for
exactly.
you right now.
Yeah. I mean, for me, perfect world, I have one phone. And
it's
So why are you doing both right now?
I'm here with this
both cameras are great.
Both cameras are excellent. Sometimes I like to have this phone as like my audio recording transcribing device.
Got it.
Nice.
So if I go into a meeting with someone, this is always recording the second that meeting is done, and then I can do whatever I need with this phone. If I need to take pictures of devices or, I don't know. It makes sense to me. But and it's, it's two great cameras, two great video shooters.
And half the battery life on each.
Yeah. And another reason is because I have a strange setup that I've cobbled together for when I do like shorts, where it's my Osmo Pocket 3 and mounted behind it is a phone with my script.
Got it.
And then I like to have another phone in case, because sometimes things come up. So yeah.
Matteo, what's your deal? I see an Honor.
Yes,
of some kind.
Tomorrow morning, this is being announced. It's the Honor Magic 8.
I mean, it's been announced in China.
In China,
you know everything about it.
My NDA specifically says UK 8 AM, so I'll have to respect that. But I've been using this for a couple of months. I'm very, very impressed with the camera setup.
That's what I hear.
For zoom in low light, it's amazing. So Vegas is the perfect place to get my examples. I've been using this with T-Mobile SIM. It's been working great, despite not being targeted at the US market. Then I have the Google Pixel 10 Pro XL, which is my main device with all the usual things.
Pixel people, they're freaking Stockholm
And then, just like Miriam, I carry a base iPhone 17.
Yeah, I've got that in my bag.
And the Samsung Galaxy Z Flip 6.
Oh my God, you're keeping pulling stuff. And then, by the way, those of you watching on video right now, that's an iPhone 17 Pro Max recording. So I've got two iPhones on me today. One, because, here's actually a good reason for that. This is very interesting. I love the Pro Max. Obviously, this is the one you want if you're a pro, because, this year particularly, Apple pro'd really hard, right?
Yeah.
I think they did. It's one of the best phone lineups they've had in a long, long time.
Except for the Air.
Well, the Air is interesting in different ways.
And the E's kind of linked too.
The E is bad, but the E is the E is old now. The E doesn't match the.
And we
17
didn't get
launch.
a 17 Plus that would have been
But
the most
wait,
practical.
but wait.
iPhone.
Here's the thing. Do
'Cause
you know why I shoot more video with the 17 than 17 Pro Max?
Why is that?
You can focus closer with the main camera.
So-
And so for product stuff, it's way better than this 17 Pro Max, which is way better for the telephoto and other reasons. The bigger main sensor too, and low light is going to be better. But I feel that for our line of work, where we're like literally like all like 3 OnePlus watches, Watch 3 is awesome.
So I'm the odd Samsung guy.
Yeah.
So when did you guys pull yours off the charger? From Sunday, I'm down to 54%.
I'm at
Dang.
I'm at 79, and I pulled it off the charger at about 8 p.m. last night or something like that.
Where are you at?
39%. I
2
charged
days.
it. Let's see here. I got here Sunday early morning, so I pulled it off at 5 a.m. Sunday morning.
Dude, this watch is
Killer.
freaking
Yeah, it's
amazing.
awesome. And it's been buzzing the entire damn time I've been here.
Been
Buzz,
going-
buzz.
And it's been tracking my steps.
But you
got
have,
some
you don't have
serious
the always
steps
on.
tracking.
I have always on display turned on.
shaking
so
the heck.
Oh, yeah.
I'm one
I
of
leave
those
off.
always on display whores.
I do like it, but for whatever reason, I didn't set it up this time and it hasn't bothered me.
But
Why
going
do you
back-
have a Samsung watch? Why don't you have a OnePlus watch like all of us? That way it'd be uniform.
Yeah, be like the cool
Yeah,
kid.
couldn't you have told us before we started recording?
If you loved us, you would.
I missed the memo.
It was
But
there.
going back to what we were saying about the iPhone and the products video, it was really funny because we were at that Honor event the other evening with the robot phone,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and you were filming with your iPhone explaining why, and I pulled mine out saying, snap.
Yeah. So back to clicks. I think what I like about it is they've nailed so many good specs on this thing. Like everything, it is back to this, what I was saying earlier, made by nerds for nerds.
Yeah.
Like OLED, it's LTPS, not LTPO, but that makes sense because it's a small display. 1200 by 1080, it means it's a little rectangular. It's, gonna refresh down to like 30 hertz or something, which is nice. It's battery efficient, but it's not super expensive LTPO. They're talking about, off the record, they're not sure exactly, but it's something in the 7000 series for MediaTek is what they're aiming for. They don't know yet. 8 gigs of RAM, 256 zero storage. Micro SD expansion, which is freaking awesome. Headphone jack, MagSafe with wireless charging. They didn't say how fast the battery charges, but it's a 4,000 milliamp hour silicon carbon battery. So it's pretty small and makes the phone, relatively thin and light. And interchangeable back covers, which is cool.
Love that.
I have put in a request with Michael Fisher to have a Mocadile back.
Oh, of
Yes,
course,
we
we need a
have to.
crocodile back because that's your thing.
Yeah.
But I think they've done a good, and the keyboard is amazing. Fingerprint sensor in the space bar. Also, it's a trackpad, so you can scroll with it, the keyboard. And it has a dedicated push to talk programmable button on the side that has an LED notification light around it. Power button on top, a volume rocker, and a mute switch like the original iPhone did. Overall,
So we say for
USB-C,
nerds,
all that.
but all the things that you're
no,
describing.
but the specs are like
Yeah, no, I mean,
say,
when we talk about that, but like my wife is not a techie enthusiast. Like she doesn't follow this stuff for any kind of entertainment. She has never forgiven the industry for BlackBerry going away. Like if she could go back to any phone, it would be a Curve. Like she wants that experience back. I think if you target it right, you're the king of that niche.
yeah, and that's
There are
exactly
a
what
lot
they're
of
trying to
people-
do.
I mean, again, I say a lot relative to billions of
Right.
phones being sold every year, but there are a lot of people that could really maximize that I don't think have any interest in what we normally talk about in our phone reviews.
No,
Like,
but-
we're irrelevant to those people. And all we've got to do is see, can we reach the folks who want that kind of experience?
But BlackBerry has tried to bring back its thing in the past.
T1, T2,
And did
T2
those
LE.
people buy into it then?
And so that's what I mean is, can we reach them?
Yeah.
And when we were going off on Key 1 and Key 2, I still think it was removed far enough from what those people liked about BlackBerry. It was
Yeah.
an Android device with some BlackBerry trappings.
Yeah.
And when I showed my wife, hey, this is like the home screen just becomes like your messaging interface.
Yeah.
Oh, that's the thing I missed.
The hub.
Yeah, exactly. Was that kind of BlackBerry consolidation? Now it's even way worse for the amount of messaging and spam and junk that we just have to filter through our days. That was the thing that appealed to her. And she loved all the little things like I could pull this phone out of my pocket. As I was pulling it out of my pocket, I was long pressing one key that I could feel, and I was already calling you. Like that was the thing she loved about BlackBerry, and it's like we kind
you
of
can
took
do
steps
that.
away from that. Like as much as I love that they make funky phones, like Unihertz still hasn't tapped that kind of DNA.
No, they haven't.
I feel like Clicks is the spiritual
And,
successor.
and
that
you know,
could
you
get
can
people.
tell that they really sweated the product and the details. And this is what I mean by nerds for nerds.
And it's cute.
Right? The
It's a
industrial
cute-
design is really good.
Yeah.
Colors are good. It's a plastic frame, but it's a resin, so it's really, really hard and strong. It feels more like aluminum, really.
Oh,
So is
that's another selling point. My wife,
No case.
yeah, for her
I think it's
curve,
going to be super durable.
that thing would get dropped with the battery ejecting like on the regular. My wife destroys gadgets, but that curve survived, and I think in part because it was an open back device.
The cameras, I think, is 50 megapixel main OIS. There's no ultra wide, no telephoto. That's not the purpose of this device. There's a front facing camera as well. But look, the thing is, I like where they're going because I think that there's a lot of people like out there that want messaging, you know, that are really focused on messaging. They really want to have this kind of just like, I want all my messaging in one place. Kind of like what I do with my Pixel, but they don't even need the camera part or anything. And they want they want the hardware keyboard for one of two reasons. And I think came out of my conversation with Clicks today, is they want it because they're ex-BlackBerry people like us, older, they've seen it, they've experienced it, and they really like the hardware keyboard. I'm not one of them. I type way faster on the glass than any hardware keyboard that's like a thumb type keyboard. So but I respect the people who do, right? But then there's the whole Gen Z new people. Like there's a whole generation of people, like the same people who are rediscovering cassettes and mini disc and CD and are rediscovering knobs on synthesizers. They're like, oh my God, tactile experience. You know, it takes effort, but it lets me focus. I'm not distracted. I'm in the zone.
Influencers with standalone cameras, like
Yeah.
the peeling things off the phone is.
I think this is the thing. And I think that Clicks, you know, BlackBerry Key wasn't there for that.
No.
It was too early or too late, whatever you look at it.
Yeah.
Whereas this is the time. And on top of that, the design focus. I think the BlackBerry Key 1, Key 2, Key 2 LE weren't really that designy.
They weren't very.
You know, they were very generic.
I think there's potential, like again, being the old nerds that we are, like there was that hot moment here in the United States, especially on the West Coast, when Windows Phone came out and you could get a cyan
Oh my
phone.
God, yeah.
And you would see them at the design conferences. Like I would be showing up to these trade shows and I'd see like non-techies, Lumia 1520s, Lumia 920s, things like that.
Wow.
And I think in that same regard, a cute phone that doesn't look like every iPhone, I was going to hold this up, every iPhone clone on the market has potential to reach people too. It's really, I think the frustrating thing is going to be, what do they do for marketing? Because every one of these enthusiast startup brands can reach the nerds, can reach the geeks, but how do you step outside that? How do you find those people who aren't into these kinds of videos and stuff?
The one cool person at the design conference showing it off.
I mean, again, that's the baby steps, but like to reach beyond that is a humongous challenge. It's killed all of these other brands. Like Essential couldn't find any room outside that.
But I also think this is a big difference. I agree with your point, but I think that there was a pretentiousness to Essential that we also see with nothing.
Plenty of other
we've seen with
missteps,
OnePlus.
for sure.
And I think Clicks is much more humble. Like they're just like, listen, we're just doing our thing. They're not making a big fuss about it.
And it's okay to say, like, oh yeah, our device doesn't do that. And that's fine.
And I like that they don't have an ultra wide because they're like, we're drawing a line.
Yeah.
Maybe if there's enough demand in the future, we'll add it. But right now we're like, and you know, I told them, they're like, you know, there are going to be 1 million people out there who are going to be mad that it doesn't have a Snapdragon 8 Elite Gen 5, that it doesn't have like 16 gigs of RAM and 512 gigs of storage, never mind the SD card that exists that solves that problem. But they're going to be complaining. And I'm like, don't listen to these people. They're completely wrong.
Yeah.
For this device, a Dimensity 7000 series or whatever it is you're going to put in there is exactly what you
My wife wants 3
battery life too, right? Yeah.
I'm confident with the team they have because obviously Michael's the marquee person that everyone knows there. But they've got Adrian Lee, they've got Kevin Mitchell.
Yeah.
They have
Their
an
team
A
is
team who
incredible.
they know the product, they know the technology, they understand. I think they understand their addressable market. It's just a question of executing at this
And then
point.
people like my wife have me for the camera. So it's like, you got like 5 phones in your pocket. You take the photo.
Yeah.
I'm going to send it out after you take it.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So I think, look, for me, I like what they're doing. I think it's cool. Did they give us a price point yet?
I don't think
For the
Communicator.
For the communicator, so it was going to be $599 as recommended retail price.
Yeah.
And it's $399 if you actually order. So
So-
$399 is what I've paid as
Okay.
a pre-order.
It's
and it's $200.
before the end of February. They're doing pre-orders.
I believe so, yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So essentially just before MWC.
So, we talked about some things that I think they
tie
could,
up your money before MWC. That's smart. I like it.
we talked about a bunch of things they could be doing, but like they asked me, like, what would you do? I was like, I would have made the push to talk programmable button a touch surface so you can scroll on it. So you can assign a scroll action, like maybe to your notification. How back in the day the fingerprint sensor in the back could be
Oh, yeah.
scrolled with.
Could pull down.
Stuff like that. I told them
shape.
like bring back in a way, but without being as obnoxious about it, bring back the glyph, but in a just the surround part of the colored back. Imagine if that was translucent and could have segments, and you could program it
I'm getting flashbacks to
RGB.
Java ME phones from 2007. That's what was coming out of Shenzhen with basic MediaTek.
Wow.
chips.
Yeah, exactly.
Translucent with multicolored LEDs.
No, I'm talking about just a translucent ring between the frame and the back cover. That would the whole thing be a notification light. But because they have that bevel at the back, if we put it flat on the table, the light would reflect on the table and you'd see your notifications. It wouldn't be covered, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. So I
So
went.
That'd be cool.
And a Morcadile back.
Yeah, of
Yes,
course.
of course.
We went down a rabbit hole. It was insane. But like the bottom line is, I think this is very cool. I want to see where they're taking it. And I fully support the nicheification of smartphones. I want us to have this plethora of phones that sell in quantities of 10,000 that are completely bespoke and bizarre and cool. And I hope that our industry can achieve that in a profitable way.
Well,
that
the interest in
works.
this, I think, is one of those rising tide lifts all boats.
Correct.
Like, because immediately I start bringing up a bunch of other companies in the conversation, and Clicks has just, I think, done a much savvier job of reaching our communities. But we still now get to point like, hey, there's a phone with a projector. There's a phone with a robot camera. There's a phone stupid rugged. And it's like an appliance that doesn't fit in your pocket. Like we can start kind of layering on. I think one good win helps this entire niche.
I want a phone with a hammerhead that you can literally nail things with.
Actually, yeah. I mean, that's an 8849. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah,
It's a screwdriver that folds down a bit. Maybe
like
a
Swiss Army
scissor.
knife. Made by the Swiss Army
Swiss-
people.
oh, that's-
Knife.
How does that not exist already? That kind of
No, that should be a Shenzhen special.
Yes, but how do you travel? I mean, you
I was
can't
gonna
go
say-
through
Oh.
TSA with a Swiss Army knife.
it's
in your
that-
pocket.
Don't travel with it.
No old Samsung phones and no Swiss Army knife phones. I'm sorry, you can't get on this.
No
flight.
Note 7s.
You can be as neutral as you like, but you're not getting on this plane.
So the other thing they did is this Clicks Power, which is really cool. What they did is they took Clicks, the case, but instead of making it a case, they put a MagSafe magnet on it, and you can mount any MagSafe phone to the Clicks keyboard, and it slides. It has a slider, so you can use it landscape or like this landscape or portrait,
LG Wing.
and like LG Wing style. But it's also a power bank because it charges wirelessly, which duh. And I asked them if they could use it as a power bank through USB as well. Right now, that's not in the firmware, but they're going to fix that eventually.
Oh,
yeah,
they say they
it is-
can do it.
because they're saying some people are going to use it as a power bank.
Nice.
Some people, because it's Bluetooth, some people are literally going to have their phone on a stand, like if you have a folding phone or something, and use that as your keyboard for input,
Well, and I asked him too.
or for TV or smart TV or something,
or for
Yeah.
like a VR headset.
Yeah. So guess what I did? I grabbed the Clicks case that, Jeff had his iPhone in with MagSafe, and I grabbed the Clicks Power and I did a double keyboard, and I said, you need to do a butterfly keyboard, a Nokia style. Remember the Nokia phone that unfolded two halves of the keyboard on both
Yep.
sides? And he was
a
like,
6 series.
he was like, to the people, make a note of that. Because I'm like, that would be the next big thing. Like,
those mid 2000 Nokia designs, I miss that craziness.
Man, the lipstick phone. Come on. All right, let's talk about other phones because for me, another one that really hit it. Like, I'm super excited about this. I am overly excited about it.
Motorola?
Yes.
Yes.
Hey.
Oh my God. Okay, listen.
You were right.
I tell you why.
Wavelength.
I tell you why I'm Motorola excited.
So are we
Okay.
allowed to say Lenovo Roller? Is that not?
Yeah, we could say Lenovo Rolla. Lenovo, Moto, it makes perfect sense. Look, here's the thing. I have been finally converted to the folding style, book style phone with the OnePlus Open, right?
Okay.
And now I've got this spiritual successor, the OnePlus Open in my pocket, the Oppo Find N5, right? But the N5 predates the Z Fold 7, which is everybody's darling because the Z Fold 7 is so thin and it's sold in the West and it's supported in the West and it has the bands for the US. And I like that really squarish vibe they have going to. This N5 is more like the Honor or the previous, the OnePlus Open. Or the Pixel even, the Pixel Fold. But it's thin. It's thinner, in fact, slightly than the Z Fold 7 on paper, like the Magic V5. But my point is that because it's so thin closed, it feels like I can use it as a normal phone. So the thinness one was something that I want in my folding book style phone. The camera quality, which other than the ultra wide I have on the N5, and I also had the ultra wide on the Open, but I don't kind of feel like I'm getting that with the Pixel quite, and definitely not getting that with the Samsung, unless it's the main sensor, because that 10 megapixel telephoto on the Samsung, when you compare the S25 Edge with the Z Fold 7 and you zoom in past
It's
3x,
pretty clear. Yeah.
you don't even need that 10 megapixel telephoto. It doesn't do anything. It feels like it's just there for the spec sheet. It's like a 2 megapixel macro camera. It's like, why do you even have that, right? Whereas at least on my Oppo, it's like a proper 50 megapixel 3x periscope. It does something.
It's solid.
Right? And it has the crazy AI zoom on top of that. So what I'm trying to say is that for me, if anybody makes a folding phone for North America, it has to have, the thinness of the Z Fold 7, the battery life of these Chinese phone with silicon carbon, which my N5 has, or the Magic V5 has. It needs to have a really solid camera system, and it needs to be a US phone, meaning all the US bands, support for North America, all that stuff. And they freaking delivered that. I mean, we don't know, we haven't tested it, but we know from all the hints they've given us, they were giving me many freaking hints. They were like, same camera system as the Signature. We'll talk about that phone in a second. It's their flagship outside of North America, at least for now. But the camera system is supposed to be not just 350 megapixel sensors, identical to the Signature, which is going to be their camera-centric phone. So do I expect it to be as good as a Vivo or an Oppo? No.
It'd be
or Xiaomi?
the realities of
But I do expect it to be at least as good as the big three, Apple, Samsung, and Pixel. Big three for North America. So to me, and then on top of that, you add Moto software to that, which is brilliant. And you add their reliability, their experience making the Razr, which, like, let's face it. Look, if you have a Z Flip 7 out there or a Z Flip something, cool. But it's not the best flip phone. We all know the Moto Razr is the better flip phone. And I feel that the same thing's going to happen with the Razr Fold. That's how I came away from my hands-on. Now, we don't know the processor, but I would assume it's going to be Snapdragon 8 Elite Gen 5 or maybe Snapdragon 8 Gen 5, which is fine. I don't really need an 8 Elite Gen 5. But here's the thing. They need to come out with this now because they're talking about 6 months or something. That's way too long. About summer, because we're going to have Z Fold 8 by then.
Yeah.
So please, Moto, give it to us now.
Do you think that the progress that they've made, because they've made some really good inroads with Razr, do you think that sustains them for a book? Do you think the people that would pay attention to a flip style phone are also paying attention to phones?
No, completely different audience. But I do think that they have now created enough, kind of like they have enough visibility in the mind share of the media, tech media, and the early adopter tech savvy folks who know the Razr is the better flip phone, that they're going to get a market. It's going to be a smaller market share than Samsung for sure. There's no way they're going to reach that market share, but it's going to be when we talk about they're like, the Razr.
If you know,
if you know,
I'm sure there's like an act.
It's like, my producer Theo, who's like facing us over here. They have a Razr. They have a Moto Razr, and they love it. And they're about to upgrade to the Ultra. And it's like, if you know, you know. If you know, you know. And that's what makes me so happy is that they're not compromising. Where they're getting in the US silicon carbon, great cameras. Oh, and pen support because the Oppo has it, the Magic has it, and Samsung doesn't. Like, I'm sorry, like everybody's like fawning over the Z Fold 7, which is now 6 months old. My M5, which is almost a year old now, is doing better stuff. And this Moto Fold is. That's what I want.
Do you think that this kind of move, like we get that in North America, is this finally going to convince Apple, Samsung, Google to start giving us more competitive batteries? Because that's like in almost every single international phone video I do now is to point out
North America, better their batteries are.
And the charging time.
Yeah. I have said the word silicon carbon more often than the word AI, which is kind of sad.
That's interesting.
I mean, look, it's like it's table stakes at this point.
But it's not, because Samsung and Google and Apple don't feel like they have to improve there. They're selling more chargers and cheap pads.
But that's exactly why you said that this Razr thing is going to squeeze them. I think it's going to squeeze them.
I hope so, but Motorola
OnePlus is already squeezing them. People, even though the 15 has gotten mixed reviews for some reasons, which I adhere to. I understand these reasons. Battery life is not one of those things.
Not one of the reasons, right.
And everybody's agreed. Everybody's sung the praises. And I think if you're a Samsung exec right now, like Apple, they don't, but Apple will have to do it if they want the Air to continue, right?
Yeah.
And if they want a folding phone to be successful.
Totally.
And we know Google's already told me at I/O last year, I had a conversation with an exec. I can't remember who it was, but I brought this up on the podcast before. If you probably sound like a broken record now, but they were very adamant that they didn't believe in the technology.
Yeah, that's
like, and I'm like, what?
That's real dumb.
What universe do you live in? Like,
maybe that's what you say.
Do you live in a parallel?
To talk about the technology that you're
that's a bad PR move.
Following the silly trend, like Pixel 9 to Pixel 10, they get rid of a SIM card tray, so you get a 200 milliamp hour boost, but then like. Yeah. This is 6,500 and still has a SIM card tray. You can't sit there and sideline. Oh, well, we just don't believe it's.
Anyway,
but to me, that sounds like someone who was like, "We want to do a thin phone too, and we just haven't said yet."
Here's what I think is going to happen. I think Samsung's going to be the first to do it, and once they do it, it'll be like it's just going to take us right over. Yeah.
Then again, I think the US is currently in a bit of an insular situation, with a little island,
more than ever,
and. Let's face it, especially if you're not Apple, an addressable market of 350 million people, take off 45% who are Apple users and won't consider anything other than an iPhone. It's not big enough to make the effort. Looking at it from the outside, why would you spend money marketing?
Yeah, but they're not just selling Samsung and Apple. Apple's huge in China.
Yes,
silicon carbon. They need to get silicon carbon in China,
and they probably will. The same way they have dual SIM iPhones in China.
Yeah,
that's true.
They will make those special versions for the Chinese market. But if you think about it from a global perspective, why should the big brands make the effort in the US market when their return on investment on spending on marketing and product development for other markets is so much bigger?
Well, and
that's one of the reasons Lenovo don't try very hard in the US, because they focus on the more affordable phones for South America, for Southeast Asia, for Africa, because they get the volume, they get the margins, and they have more tried and tested technology that solve people's problems.
But arguably, they've created a really strong niche in North America with the Razr.
Yes,
that's strong niche. But when we look at Motorola arriving as, I think they're still the number 3 in North America.
Correct. But and they're the number 1 for supposedly they sell more Razrs than the Z Flip.
Well, but they're the number 3 not on Razr, but on sort of eating that market share that LG had with low cost devices.
And TCL kind of tries to have.
TCL tried to step up. But to your point there, I don't think Apple and I think Samsung is looking at Apple's success in this market. It's not just how much money does it cost to make this phone, it's how much money do we lose on accessories. Because now they've created a battery anxiety market that you talk to people and they're just sort of fine building their day around babysitting their iPhone. And they have these charge pads. And it's not a problem because I've got all these extra MagSafe accessories now. And it's not a problem because I have these battery banks that I stick on. So I think Apple loses more in retail if
But I
they
think
catch up with battery tech.
isn't
if
it?
they would
Is
make
it Apple
something
or
more
is it
powerful.
Anchor? That loses.
But
Right?
Well, and all
most
their
people in the
partners
US
put pressure on them too because
Yeah.
they're making all
But
of those
most people in the US
accessories.
will walk into an Apple store and get whatever the Apple,
Apple
store
store,
sells.
yeah.
And that
Or the
margin,
carrier store, which is even
Exactly.
Even worse.
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
big mobile,
trouble.
big mobile.
So look, I'm very positive about this, and then we should quickly mention the signature. It is a bar phone. It's pretty thin. It's only 7 millimeters thick.
Yeah, something like that. How do you feel about the curved display? Right? Is that the one with the curved display? It's like,
I don't mind.
Yeah.
I mean, I like what I saw.
Yeah.
I'm not sure about that olive color. Like, I want more
like
exciting
my
colors.
Yeah.
I think that the white or the cream color for the Fold, the Razr Fold, is more interesting.
the
But look,
fabric-y back.
I like that.
Linen-like back felt really
it's,
nice.
It's suede or something.
Yeah.
Like,
So do
like
you mind specifying what Pantone color that is?
I don't know. But that's actually a good
You just said
partnership.
Pantone, and I'm pretty sure now she has to license.
Yeah, right. We don't say that.
Guys, I'm gonna have to cut that out of the podcast. They're gonna charge me $500 or just like something like that. Anyway, the point is, no, but that's another thing that I think Moto's doing really well. This whole Pantone and Swarovski stuff, right?
Yeah.
There's a market for that. But back to I think the signature is basically a Snapdragon 8 Gen 5 base flagship, really great screen, really great camera, silicon carbon battery, the whole 9 yards, and it's a bar phone. And right now, officially, it's only coming to markets outside North America. But apparently I saw online some rumors that Moto might be
I
reconsidering.
mean, you can't get my hopes up. I mean, just from the Edge series, I really miss that we don't have.
I miss the Edge series. The Edge series, even though we got the mid-range ones, they were pretty solid. But I want the best. Exactly. And that's why.
But the best.
And I love that the signature brand, like they're putting it as a premium product
they're-
with
yeah.
concierge
Really
service
leaning
and the whole thing. I'm just like, okay.
Wait, concierge service.
Yeah.
Like the Vertu one.
I don't know if it's the same, but
Oh, that's a throwback.
now you're talking.
Yeah.
Ruby button concierge service.
Sapphire.
All right, the third phone for me, I finally played with the TriFold from
Yep.
Samsung, got
Yep.
a CZ TriFold, and yeah, Samsung has achieved something here. It's really impressive. What surprised me
Super
the
impressive.
most is it's not heavy. I really thought coming from my N5, I'm used to thin and light, folding phones. This thing is not that bad of a monster. 1.29 centimeters, that's 12.9 millimeters, is not that much. It's not that bad. It's thick, it's chunky, but it's not horrible. And God, you open this thing up in 10 inches. The other thing I realized? You go portrait, and you can thumb type on the split keyboard. Now you have like an entire document of height.
Wow.
I'm like blown away by this. I was like, okay, the 10 inch is nice for content consumption, but like I like the squareness of my. Well, guess what? Just rotate the sucker, and you got the squareness back. Like, whoa, wow! My brain went like poof. It's so cool.
Pretty awesome.
The whole thing is poof. Like my
Yeah,
brain
it
just
really is. And
it's
just
like-
how thin it is when it's unfolded. And
Do you remember in
beautiful.
Westworld when they pulled out the phone, they unfold the phone? You remember that?
At the what? At the what?
Westworld, the TV
Oh.
show.
Yeah.
I can't comment on Westworld.
That's how I felt. I felt like I'm in sci-fi.
Are you under embargo for Westworld?
Yeah, there's stuff I can't. Yeah.
Okay.
No,
I was just like,
no, I haven't watched it. I'm aware of it. But
He just doesn't remember.
I just felt. I just felt like it was that moment I was touching a prop. It was just like
Yeah.
wow.
Yeah.
And I mean, technically speaking, it's just a Z Fold 7 with an extra panel.
Yeah.
Like that's all it is.
No, I mean,
No.
you can't. I was like, I'm not.
I mean, spec-wise,
I'm
it
not
is.
a big fan of Samsung. I don't really.
Yeah,
cover
you and
Samsung
I
or
are the
anything
same
like
that way, my friend.
But it's to me, it's one of those things like in my chats, someone's like, oh, it's just this, but, and you're like, the amount
I'm
of
talking about specs.
engineering
Oh, yeah.
for the butt
Oh, yeah.
is an incredible.
The know-how.
And the same thing that I felt with the Huawei TriFold too. Like, yeah, you can make it kind of like a 2-panel and you can open it and use it that way or go 3-panel. But that third panel is an engineering dilemma that is astounding to see play out in real life.
I mean,
Like,
people are complaining like, yeah, but it's going to be expensive. I'm like, shut the F up. Like this is you. If you know, you know. It's
Well,
kind of
yeah,
like, you
yeah.
know,
This is not meant to be a.
no,
so,
so they sold the Flip on this is a status device.
Yeah.
And now I think this is Samsung really showing.
but it's
this
also a productivity
status.
powerhouse. Like
It
Dex,
is, but-
Dex, come on.
No,
Dex is cool.
I don't think, unfortunately, the stuff that I really care about, the desktop modes and Linux and getting people to use a computer in their pocket like a computer, I don't think any of that's moving the needle. This is Samsung making a showpiece that if you ever see it out in the wild, people are going to head turn and gawk. And it's something that Apple won't ever try to touch.
No.
It's unique and bespoke to them. I wish we were having these conversations more about like, this is the stuff you can do with it. This is what you can get done with it. And I don't think that this is really going to be that part of the conversation.
Yeah.
But I have to respect just the ridiculous engineering that they've accomplished.
For me, it just satisfies every wet dream I've ever had of having a two-pocket computer. You know, like you unfold the thing, you put it, like especially you get the kickstand case for it, and then you get a Bluetooth keyboard with a built-in trackpad, and that's it. You have a laptop.
So
Two pockets.
I'll
It's
carry on
amazing.
making.
Like I've been thinking about it since 2005.
I'll carry on making throwbacks to even further than 2005. 1999.
Yeah,
Ericsson
fair.
T28.
Yes,
That was a
100%.
status symbol. You were showing off that you had the thinnest phone in the world and that the antenna bump had to be a separate thing, thicker than the phone. This TriFold is there to show. So you're on the bus or you're on at the airport lounge and you're showing off the 3 bits. It's a status symbol. This is maybe not going to be practical for most people, but it's a status symbol, and it's good to have that because it will then drive that engineering Juan was speaking about. It will drive that engineering to normalize that level of exceptionalism and make us have maybe a clicks device with different form factors. It will trickle down eventually. It's a question of time. So,
All right, let's switch gears to laptops real quick. Who has played with laptops? You said you had gigabytes.
Yes.
I'm going to quickly cover because I don't want us to run out of time and talk about glasses a little bit and wearables. Pebble launched a round watch.
Nice.
Right? So I'm kind of excited about that, to be honest, because it looks actually like what it should have been the first time. Which, look, granted, they couldn't do it, but this is fair.
And you would know.
I would know. I was there. I was there in the meetings where we were debating that. But the point is, so laptops. I want to give kudos to ASUS for making a dual screen gaming ROG gaming laptop. So you know how they've had, and Lenovo does too, have that, you know, it's a hinge with 2 screens. Instead of a keyboard and trackpad on one half, you have another screen, and then you have a separate keyboard that kind of wedges in there and has a built-in trackpad. Or you can use the virtual one on screen. Like they've had laptops like that for a while, and they're great. They're fine. I've got the Lenovo one. I really like it. But ASUS decided to do like, hold my beer. We're gonna make an ROG version of that, like a gaming with like a RTX something crazy mobile chip in there, and a keyboard that you can slide in the middle, and it has a built-in kickstand to hold it up into like, so you can have this crazy gaming setup. It's really cool. And then they make gaming headphones that are really cool too with planar drivers. They're not noise canceling, but they sound wow. What else did I see from
So
ASUS?
the business grade stuff was the one that lit me up with
that crazy laptop that they did. Like, throw all the specs at it. Like if you spec it out fully, it's like $3,000 or something.
And they don't know. They don't know how expensive it's going to be. It could be more.
Yeah, because of the memory.
so is that underpinned by Panther Lake, the Intel chip, or is it the AMD one?
Well, there's a Panther Lake, but then they also have an executive thin and light with Snapdragon X2.
Correct.
And so I got to spend some time with the Snapdragon X2, and I thought it was like a shell. Like I pick it up off the table.
You're talking about the A16.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I almost,
so I had
like,
the A14
flung it.
last year with the X chip, and now they're making an X2 version of that. But they decide like it's a MacBook Air equivalent in their lineup.
Yeah.
They decided, hey, Apple made a 15, let's make a 16, and the A16 it's made of a serra aluminum thing, and it's super light. But not only that, it's got Snapdragon. It's the only one with Snapdragon X2 Extreme as an option.
Okay.
Elite Extreme.
In that form factor.
So it's 48 gigs of RAM. It's still like, I think it's only a terabyte of storage.
So that's another. And then the other thing that blew me away was this $160 Chromebook they sell at Walmart.
Oh, wow.
And you know, I'm used to, even ASUS, I'm used to like, okay, $160, yeah, it's gonna be all plasticky and creaky and you know, but no, this thing felt like it was well made. I was like,
wow,
how can you make this for $160?
No.
Are
And
you nuts?
what chip is that running on? Is it Intel? Or?
I don't know. I didn't even check the specs.
Because
I was just like, this is great.
So my daughter has an ASUS school laptop, and you look at it like this is a piece of garbage plastic toy, but then you see how the kids are like manhandling and mangling these things, and they are surprisingly robust.
Yeah.
And I think they're N150s.
Okay, it's a Celeron.
Yeah, that kind of Celeron.
It could
grade.
also be a MediaTek chip in that one. I
Yeah,
don't know.
exactly. One thing that I've
Companion.
noticed very quietly in the laptop space is there's a lot of Snapdragon chips, there's a lot of Companion chips
Yeah.
from MediaTek. It's quietly starting to shift.
Yes.
Intel's disappointed and burnt the OEMs, ODMs, and it's not something that everyone's shouting out about, but I think we're starting to see this.
So I'm not going to name the company. I'm not going to speak for them, but I was talking to a mini PC manufacturer, and they were describing just that. They make AMD little mini PCs and Intel little mini PCs, and they're like, our AMD lineup is super robust because we can count on these chips with these sockets, these components, and everything's great. And our Intel SKUs are wild because Intel will just kill chips at a moment's notice, and they can't get a handle on like what they're, because we're talking very low manufacturing numbers.
Yeah.
And exactly that situation. It's like, if there's an alternative, a little tablet chip in a laptop clamshell form factor at $150 for students, why not?
I mean,
They're going to do everything in Chrome browser anyway. Just do that.
I'm always impressed when I see really affordable hardware that is well made and seems to make sense. And this is one of them. And so I've kudos to that. So from the ROG all the way to the enterprise, crazy spec laptop,
Really?
super light, super thin too. They went aluminum. They don't call it that for the enterprise, but they went aluminum for the keys. The keys have the metal, and the backlit. It's insane. Like they're like no expense to spare. It has a removable, upgradable M2 SSD. It's like holy crapola. Like they just out of control. Anyway, the point I'm making is that I want to switch to Lenovo because Lenovo always the concepts and the crazy stuff that I just love. So you remember a while back, I think it was like, I want to say MWC or IFA or whatever, where they made this, you remember the transformable laptops that have the screen that go like this and then can rotate into a tablet and rotate back down on themselves? They made one of those with a motorized hinge where the rotation and angle was motorized, and so it can track you with the camera when you walk around and do like, you're like one of those power techie that likes to walk and pace when you do your calls.
So
anyway,
the Teams call with a whiteboard becomes interactive.
So they made it into, they finally took it and it's no longer a prototype. It's a freaking laptop you can buy. It's no thicker, no different than normal production. And it's rugged enough that it's production. And the best part is you can override the motors. There's clutches in there. So if you want to close the lid while it doesn't break. So it's really cool. They did that. And then you remember how they did the rollable and they actually made the rollable. You can buy the rollable. Well, they made one where instead of rolling the OLED rolling into below the keyboard, the OLED rolls into the back of the lid.
Oh, wow.
So you can, it goes from like a regular laptop to like this tall aspect ratio portrait screen. But then when it goes back down, that leftover screen goes to the back and gives you kind of a partial screen in the back where you can have widgets and stuff.
Oh, nice.
That sounds
I
familiar.
love
swear they had that
Lenovo.
last year, but-
I love how they do crazy stuff like this all the time at Lenovo. It's amazing.
Yeah.
And then the other thing they did is they did the same concept, but on a gaming laptop. So they took one of their Legion, right? And they did like, it's a normal laptop when you open a gaming laptop, and then you push a button on the screen and it expands into a white screen. It's basically a rollable, but with two sides that roll out.
Like, kind of reminded me of the old, like, the famous ThinkPad where the keyboard would split out and be wider than the frame. Like, give that the screen. I want that.
So
I want
cool.
that wide.
And then, again, that's also
gaming
just a
screen.
prototype right now. But
that's the one I really feel like needed to be the production. Like, I get the vertical and you can have like the over under kind of screen space, but I want that ultra wide.
yeah, absolutely.
So to segue into the next bit, how many of those problems we think we're solving with physical screens can be solved by glasses?
I like
Well, wait. You want to talk about Gigabyte first, real quick?
Yeah, well, Gigabyte.
Is that related?
No, it's unrelated, but I thought this was a better connection. But yeah, Gigabyte, I was impressed by. We don't get to see them in Europe much. They have a lineup of gaming laptops, all running NVIDIA RTX 5090s. They're not bothered with the mid-range from what I see from their product lineup. It's only high-end stuff with big chunky batteries with lots of fans and liquid cooling, and the top specs they can get.
Cool.
So it's good to see a company.
Did they have any concept or anything like that?
No, they have products that are about to launch next month. So
Nice.
they're at their stands, nice big chunky laptops.
But it's nice seeing someone not say like, well, I guess if we slide down the market, we can make a mass market device. It's cheaper manufactured. No, like we know what people shop our brand for. Let's cut out all this other stuff and just go big.
Yeah.
Yeah. So smart glasses, what did you see, Juan Carlos?
I've seen them all.
And by the way, they are everywhere.
And which one did you like?
So what's been interesting is kind of the split.
Are we talking AR or display?
That's just it. Is we're seeing that split between what I would call more of a heads-up display. They're saying AI glasses, but for me, it's can you put a smartwatch up at eye level that you would want to wear throughout your day? And then the other side is the cinema and XR experience. So many companies are trying to catch up, in my opinion, to where X-Real and Rokit are.
Yeah.
Right.
So like
they're leading, really.
So I would say X-Real probably has the slight edge because a lot of your basic head tracking and smoothing is built into the glasses.
It's so seamless. Yeah.
So nice. You don't have to plug in another brain just to smooth that stuff out. I thought was kind of interesting. What Rokit was showing off was the step over into heads-up display. So their glasses this show were waveguide optics for notifications and alerts and AI, and they're kind of because you got to spend time literally just before here working with Evan Reality
here.
Yeah, is it Evan or even Reality?
I don't know. I saw it. I read it one time. Like I reached out and said, "Hey, can I do a booth visit?" And they never got back to me.
How do I even open it?
There you go.
There we go.
Careful. It's
Unboxing time.
Careful. It's gonna like splay out.
Oh, it does the little splay out thing. Yeah, I mean, this is what you're talking about, the heads up kind of display.
My God, we're getting an unboxing.
Proper with like
Live unboxing.
Should I have saved this for my channel? No, it's okay. And I mean, they're nice looking, looking glasses. All the compute back here, basically with little touch surfaces. Your little waveguide, above your view.
These are metal, and then you can see the waveguides here a little bit. And let's see. I gotta try these on.
Yeah. So this is like the dream of Google Glass realized.
Yeah,
that's
they look like real glasses.
Do they look good on me?
And so I have Gen 1, and I don't want to besmirch the brand. They were working great until yesterday. Stopped getting notifications, and then I went, let me just give them a reboot. And then I saw weird Matrix stuff, and now I can't get them to work anymore.
Did you stop by the booth?
I'm gonna go hit them tomorrow morning and just like, hey guys.
Did you try turning them off and on again?
That's what messed me up. Is I tried to do just like a reset reboot.
Yeah,
I live out of these because I absolutely hate like how much we look at. I'm in a conversation with you, and I'm like looking at my watch, which is like the rudest gesture. From Google Glass to Focals by North to all of these other players. Vuzix was showing off military tech using waveguide optics.
Should we show them with a banana for
That's
scale?
That's exactly what I'm doing. Banana for scale, everyone.
But also...
There we go. The banana for scale.
I really like that we're starting to get a little savvier in how we show this because... It's really difficult to describe. I can tell you in a video what it's like to have waveguides or bird bath optics for a cinema display. But like at the X-Real booth, they had this machine of like this, the factory line, I should say, where they just had glasses on a pole. And you walked up and you put your face into the glasses. You didn't have to like...
put them on or anything?
Like get them sized or move the nose pads or anything. It was the smartest example of that I've ever seen. And then their big announcement was a partnership with Asus, where they're taking their cinema display, their XR glasses, and they have an official ROG branded version. So instead of just 120 hertz and head tracking, it's 240.
Wow.
Crazier design, even brighter. Like
it looks a little sportier.
The prisms are like next level, wider field of view.
This
pretty intense.
Reminds me actually of somebody else we need to briefly talk about is TCL, because I'm not talking about TVs here, but I'm talking about they have partnered with the other glass company.
Raineo. So I have those.
Oh, you have those? All right, bring them out.
I forgot that I did.
So Raineo and TCL are doing something. I got to wear their Batman glasses too.
Yeah, they've got that cute design on them.
But the other thing that I want to bring up about TCL real quick is they have, of course, a new Next Paper phone, which has a zero flicker, which is kind of insane.
Yeah.
So it's a their Next Paper technology is an LCD based technology that looks like e-ink basically, right? Ooh, I need to try them all on.
So the X3 Pros.
There we go. Here we go.
I don't know if they're powered up right now.
What do you think, producer?
Honestly,
better?
honestly, the Ray Neos give me safety glasses vibes.
Yeah, they're a little too chunky. I think.
They're a little chunky, but they have the centered camera,
Here, banana for scale.
and you can really see.
Oh
the
wow,
way
you can really see the word, guys.
Yeah, they're very reflective.
Okay, so anyway, TCL has the Next Paper devices, and the phone is now the 70 Pro, and it looks like an iPhone 17. It's a bit
does.
weird, right? Like a kind of crappy copy.
So many companies.
But it's remember, this is an affordable-ish phone, and the big thing here is an LCD display that can look like e-paper, has this matte finish on it, is super good for your eyes, like no blue light, no flicker, 120 hertz refresh, blah blah blah, and yeah, there's a switch that literally goes from e-ink mode like to. Remember, you're not switching displays here. It's like an LCD that emulates e. And so now they've also made like a remarkable tablet kind of copy, as it were. And so it's got like a big area on one side where you can hold it without like touching
so
the
happy to
screen.
see that.
That was nice. And then a home button too, so you can go back home. And then it's not e-paper, it's color, and they can actually watch videos on it. It looks bright and nice and everything. But it's the next generation.
I really want to get that for my daughter.
But it's not full color spectrum. I mean, the way that they have it set up, and it doesn't have the standard, I would say, Next Paper switch to.
No, it
switch
doesn't have the
between.
switch. But
So
the
it's
other
really
thing that
locked into
surprised
that
me is
ramped
it's
down
not
color.
it's Android, but it's not a dedicated tablet. Like I felt that it was a bit weird. Like I understand remarkable because like you're taking notes, and so this comes with a pen. It has a finish on the screen that makes the pen work really nice. Pressure sensitivity, all that. So basically, the note-taking tablet, like remarkable. But then, because of that display, they can play videos so nicely with good colors, and yet they're not making this a generic Android tablet.
No.
I don't understand it. It's a completely wasted opportunity.
But I also kind of want it locked in, and I want to give that to my daughter just to save her eyes.
Yeah.
Like not give her the choice. I know that is not how they're gonna pitch it. That's not a good commercial for them.
You know, it's
but
Android. You get ADB if you want.
just want to
So I know we did a little side into TCL because I just remembered with Aranio. But like, what other smart glasses did you see that like really hit it for you?
This is what I think is kind of interesting. The market is maturing. The tech is becoming more accessible. When you've got some of those like smaller side players like a Tozo out there where they actually had like karaoke jams, girls at their booth and stuff, it's starting to validate what I think we've been playing with.
Yes.
I don't know if you all remember like the Sony Cinema headset before the VR boom. It was that big visor helmet you would put on, and you had 720p screens that simulated a movie theater in your own private kind of space, but it was like massively bulky and heavy and had like 5 cables that you had to like plug out the side. And the fact that now we can achieve
this
like an entertainment experience, that's something that I think competes very well against like a Vision Pro or a Quest.
Yeah.
It's way more discreet to be on an airplane.
way more comfortable.
Yeah, way more comfortable.
But then the flip side is, we don't have to make this one size or catch-all device. If I want a smartwatch, you've got 2 smartwatches on your thigh right there.
Yeah.
But now they just bring information up to eye level.
Yeah.
And that to me is absolutely critical. If any of these like gimmicky AI promises are to take off, I love walking around a city with walking directions, and I can get pieces of information, little facts up at eye level.
That's really nice. It's really powerful.
I'm not advertising that I'm a tourist. I'm not walking around with my
if you
phone.
wear these, you might be advertising.
So and we need the competition because like what Ray Neo is doing is interesting. This is not what I want to put on my face all day.
But I just showed that for those of you on Patreon, you just saw right now, like there's quite a bit of a different chunkiness between these two products.
Oh, it's
I mean,
so
we're
still in early days.
You really feel it on those when you wear them for any length of time. These I'll wear all day.
Yeah, and these are designed to be lightweight too. Like that's kind of the whole purpose,
So they have a head start, I think, in making something you'd actually want to wear. But then a company like Rokid comes along, and their waveguides, I think, are actually brighter. So especially when you're in those like kind of mixer sunlight, you've got like a really bright sunlight kind of interfering with that. That's the competition we need. Like, if these things are going to scale and get better, we need more than one player who can make something. I've been playing with the Vuzix dev kit, and it's only monocular. But it's still like, oh, this is so simple. It's so streamlined. It feels just like a regular pair of sunglasses. And because they aren't trying to do a whole bunch of AI stuff, the battery lasts for like 2 days.
Right.
So it's I'm loving
Cameras,
that.
right?
I've been desperate for smartwatch at eye level to take
Same.
off. And now I think we actually have the tech to do
And
that.
this is
Do any of these have haptic feedback?
No,
it's audible. It's audible feedback.
audible.
Yeah.
You know, it's usually just audio. I was with the with Loomis. Loomis is the company that made the display for the Meta View. I'm always forgetting the name on that.
because they just came out with new waveguides.
And they came out with new waveguides, and one of them they showed me the prototype, so I got to put it on. Is just a normal pair of glasses. Although I say normal, it looks like a friggin' prototype. But the field of view in the normal glasses, I think, is something like 70 degrees or something like that, and it looked really good.
Yeah.
So I'm going to be writing about that.
So the other side of that, they're not at the show. I don't know. They made a big splash last year, and they finally got retail out. Was Halliday.
Oh yeah.
So instead of having waveguides, what if you just projected that light right into your eye directly?
Yeah, because one thing I'll say, the Ray Neo. Obviously, they're all trying to figure out the right balance. These, the glasses themselves, are incredibly reflective.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that's just a fact with waveguide layers inside of glasses. Even though this is see-through and everything, as I wear them, I always feel like there's a little something in the way. I can see through it. And that's a real challenge
It's
for
an issue.
long-term use.
So for even realities, I don't know. For ER and for Rokid, they're going over or under. So for Rokid, it's all under.
Yeah, it's interesting.
You can look over the UI. With Evan Realities, it's that you're looking under the UI.
Yeah.
I love that they're kind of taking that into consideration.
Yeah,
if I get an
they're just trying to
alert,
find their
I need to
right
be able
balance.
to look past it if it's not something I need to move on.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we should probably
like
wrap
this.
up, but before we do, I think Matteo, you have to show us an incredibly sophisticated camera system.
Yes.
I got you.
So this is all the way from down under.
From a land down under?
Yes.
Oh.
So it's a startup that started in Australia, and the team have now started executing in Hong Kong. Lovely bunch of people from Flashback, which is a retro camera that allows you to have a shitty camera without the hassle of having an iPhone. So essentially, it is a deliberately simple.
May I?
Yeah, go ahead. It's a deliberately simple camera that feels like one of the disposable film cameras from the late 90s, early 2000s. And within that camera, you have a physical setup to be able to charge.
Feels solid.
It feels solid. It has a little spinner here. So you actually have to spin this until it's ready to take a picture, and it will physically stop.
So it's the clicks of cameras?
Yes. It doesn't
Got
have
that analog vibe?
It doesn't have
I don't think the clicks people want to be associated.
But look, it's got cool colors.
It's got cool colors. It comes in a whole range of colors. It has an optical viewfinder.
Oh my God.
Beautiful.
And you see at the top, it has the LCD screen.
Yeah.
At
Should
the
I
top,
take a photo? Is it ready to go, you think?
It's ready to go.
Let's
do you
see.
That's
run
the
out?
flash.
And for good?
That's
It
my
runs out at 27 pictures,
That's
and then
my
you need to download them via USB-C. And then once you've downloaded them with the USB-C, you can start taking
So
pictures again.
this is the flash switch?
Yes.
Okay. Let me try. If I push a shadow now, we should be good, right?
Yes.
All right. I'm going to take a picture of my producer here.
Okay. It made the sound. And now you need to charge it again.
Like,
Yeah. Until it stops.
Oh my goodness.
how long do you have to do this?
Until it physically stops. It gives you
Oh, there it is.
Yeah.
It's
So my
performative.
producer's going to take a picture of us for the podcast
Yes.
of the group and see how it comes out. And the quality's okay?
I haven't seen it from this one.
All right.
The ones I saw at the booth were amazing. The big button, grey button. So this,
Sound.
I think this,
love
after the clicks Communicator. This is the CES product of the year.
Of the year.
And it has USB-C connectivity.
Wow. And it charges as well?
Yes.
I was hoping that like turning the dial was enough kinetic energy to like charge.
No, that'd be good. Yes.
How much is it?
So this is going to retail for around about $100 depending on the market. But I think there's a space for this because it used to be you went to weddings, you went to events, and there's disposable cameras on the table.
Yes.
This fills that, and you can obviously pair it to the app, and you can then define which cameras are tied to which account. So if there's anything dodgy going on, it gets curated by the owner. But I think this is a beautiful blend of that retro thing because they've worked really hard on the filters to make it look like retro film.
Beautiful.
I really like this, and it's the sort of thing that I came to Vegas for.
Banana for size. This is called Flashback, folks. Banana for size.
Love it.
All right. Well, thanks so much, Matteo. Do you guys want to start maybe with you, Matteo? Tell my audience where they can find you on the internet and what you do.
Sure. So I'm Matteo. I'm the chief mobile opinionist at Tech Travel Geeks. So that's on YouTube, youtube.com/Tech Travel Geeks. We cover consumer electronics, gadgets, accessories, and anything that makes the travel experience better.
Yeah, and you just passed 100K. Congratulations.
I know,
Thank you.
congrats.
Yeah, that's
I have a plaque waiting for me at home.
I know. That's
Wow.
amazing. That's amazing.
Mr. Jason.
Podcasts, Android Faithful, AI Inside Daily Tech News Show, YouTube channel, Jason Howell, and writing for ZDNet. I think that's it.
And General Rockstar.
Yeah.
Yep.
Don't forget.
Yellow gold music.
Juan Carlos.
I'm some gadget guy. I'm all over the place. Somegadgetguy.com, on YouTube, patreon.com/somegadgetguy, because we're all doing that side hustle too. And I show up on a lot of other websites too as an editorialist and a gun for hire. So
That's right.
probably seen me around.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you know where to find me, folks. I'm at TankGirl, TNKGRL, everywhere on the internet. That's my handle pretty much everywhere, except for TikTok, because I couldn't get that. So I added my year of birth, 6'9". Don't make fun. I know it's funny. But anyway, primarily Instagram, Threads, Blue Skies, where you'll find me. And so follow, chat with all of us about this podcast. Your thoughts about CES, we'd love to hear them. Podcast is at mobiletechpodcast.com. We're on all the major platforms. So if it's your first time here, please subscribe. If you're your second time here, please subscribe. Third time. But the point is, there's a YouTube channel as well. You can watch my hands-on with the Galaxy Z TriFold from Samsung there. I just posted this today. So by the time you get this, a few days old. But anyway, youtube.com/mobiletechpodcast. You know how YouTube works. Like, subscribe, tell your friends, click the bell, comment. Tell me in the comments of all the products we talked about, what do you think is the thing that got you excited?
Clicks.
Yeah.
What was the thing that got you excited, and why was it clicks?
Yeah. And then finally, the Patreon. So patreon.com/TNKGRL. I mentioned it earlier. That's where you can support me. And the way you do that is you get this podcast with generally a bit of additional content, some bloopers and stuff like that. You get a day in advance, $5 a month, and it's a weekly thing. So you get it every week. So please consider supporting me with Patreon, patreon.com/TankGirl. Finally, I want to thank our sponsor, Mint Mobile. You know I review a lot of phones, so I'm constantly juggling multiple devices. While that's fun, it also means I'm spending a lot of money for wireless service on multiple SIMs. Thankfully, there's Mint Mobile, and that's who I'm teaming up with for today's podcast. If you want to save money on your wireless service, switch to Mint Mobile. You've probably seen the Mint Mobile ads featuring Ryan Reynolds, but let me quickly tell you how fantastic their service is, especially for tech-savvy early adopters like us. Mint Mobile offers premium wireless for as low as $15 a month, and you don't have to sacrifice any coverage, speed, or data. They're built on the nation's largest 5G network. They keep costs low because they sell direct to you online. They cut out the retail stores and salespeople. Why should you pay more than you have to for access to the same network? In my experience testing phones, Mint Mobile delivers the same data speeds and call quality as the big three for a fraction of the cost. Switching to Mint is super easy. Thanks to their eSIMs, you can sign up and activate immediately right on your phone from the comfort of your home. No more standing around waiting in line at a big wireless store. You can keep your current devices and phone number and easily switch services. And if your phone isn't eSIM compatible, Mint will ship you a new SIM card free of charge. The whole process only takes 15 minutes, and if you get stuck, Mint has a great customer service team to get you through it. All Mint Mobile plans include unlimited nationwide talk and text, plus lightning-fast 5G and free mobile hotspot. Mint will show you how much data you use each month and recommend plans that save you money. Mint also offers a modern family plan that lets you set up a super affordable family plan with as little as 2 lines. Use my link, mintmobile.com/mobiletech, to get premium wireless starting at $15 a month. Stop paying more than you need on your wireless bill and start saving big with Mint Mobile. And I also want to thank 2 of our other sponsors for this podcast, Qualcomm, who provided accommodations for this show for CES, and Polestar, who provided transportation. For those of you, you can see my Polestar 4 keychain right here. So thanks to both Qualcomm and Polestar for helping us out with CES this year. And folks, stay tuned. I'll have another podcast next week. Obviously, I'll have these folks on the show again in the future. Until then, cheers, everybody.
Bye.
This has been the Mobile Tech Podcast with Tank Girl, proudly presented by worldpodcasts.com. You can visit us online at mobiletechpodcast.com.